we supposed to think? I know that the idealism is like, oh, a strong man who's adaptable and can take care of himself. It's, I mean, in a way, sure, that's very nice to teach people. Look, the number one thing is to teach people self-reliability. If you can rely on yourself, you're good, okay? If you can get around, you're good. What is it, Adam? Welcome. I'm comfy here. I hope you are too. We are just... Oh, I'm doing good. I was just explaining how I'm totally okay with letting people know if I fuck up. And also, this.
That privacy is not the only right this so-called Equality Act, this Inequality Act, will take a blow at. As the mom of 4 boys, I am raising my boys to be men, and I am darn proud of that. As a parent, I rely on friends, family, and faith to guide me in raising my children. You know who I don't need in helping me with my parental decisions? I do not need the help of the United States federal government.
So sorry. Okay, so like, here's the thing about that, right? If your boys are ever discriminated against because they are men, as you describe, as you raise them, right? Who's going to protect them? How are they going to have protection from hate, right? From hate speech. The only way is through litigation. It's through the judicial office. Sure, maybe socially, communally, locally, people culturally and traditionally respect men in a certain way. But if one day the image of man in the way that you have raised your boys becomes illegitimate to people in the consensus, don't you want them to have protections of some kind? Now, granted, white men have these protections already in many, many ways, in many of the ways that I just gave. However, if they somehow become marginalized and maybe they're discriminated against, wouldn't you want them to have a little sentence in resolution, in writing, saying, you can't fucking do that? Wouldn't that be a nice, I don't know, peace of mind? Nice bit of peace of mind that you get to hold on to every single day? I think that you don't understand what the problem is. It's not that you're men, your boys can't be men. It's that men and women who don't feel the same as they were born, as they were told to be, right? When they start acting like their true selves, cannot live without discrimination. They can't live without being called out. And it's not okay to do that, because if you do that to a single kind of person, to a single kind of group, that's called, wait for it, that's called a fucking hate crime. Shocker. I know. But you know what? That's what it is. So, that's why the Liberty Act is there. It's to ensure that people are free of oppression. That's what that is for. It's not an anti-liberty act. Nobody's rights are getting taken away. We are impressing upon people the need to protect others' rights. It's such a dumb argument. You read the article itself, it fucking sounds great.
Bureaucrats. Under H.R. 5, parents who choose not to subject their child to puberty-blocking drugs, cross-sex hormones, they could have their children removed from their custody.
Okay, hold on. You're talking about actual fucking literature here. This is so dumb. I can't believe we gotta read all this shit for her. My God. Okay. Okie dokie. Here we go. Tons of people. Look at that. Super pretty. Love it. Love it. Tons of fun. Alrighty. Discrimination can occur based on sex. Right. A single instance of discrimination may have more than one basis. Right. Some persons. Let me play the music. LGBTQ, healthcare facilities. Okay. People commonly experience discrimination in public accommodations, restaurants, senior centers. Right. Women. Many employers. Regular ongoing discrimination as well as women accessing public accommodations. That's the restroom bit. Discredited practice known as conversion therapy. This is what they're really after, okay? I don't want anyone missing this. This is going to get rid of the business of conversion therapy. Okay? It will be illegal to do conversion therapy. You will have your rights protected against this form of discrimination, which in many cases leads to the exiling of children from families and the shunning of those very people from entire communities, which usually have major influence in the surrounding area in which you live. So that is extremely important. Both LGBTQ people and women face widespread discrimination, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we know. Federal courts widely recognize the enacting Civil Rights Act 64, validly invoke the powers of 14th Amendment to provide a full range of remedies in response to persistent, widespread, pervasive discrimination by both private and government actors, right? Discrimination by state and local governments on the basis of sexual orientation, gender, employment, housing, accommodations, such and such and such and such and such. Also violates constitutional rights of those, liberty, privacy, right, under the Fourth Amendment. Okay, individuals who are LGBTQ, perceived LGBTQ, have been subjected to history, pattern, persistent, wide perspective. Okay. Discrimination based on sexual. Numerous provisions, federal. I want to know what she is talking about. We haven't found it yet, guys. This act makes explicit that existing federal statutes prohibiting sex discrimination, healthcare, prohibiting sex discrimination in employment. Okay. Often face discrimination when seeking to rent. Right. National surveys, including study commissioned by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, show that housing discrimination against LGBTQ people is very prevalent. When sex-same couples inquire about housing, right. As a result, absence of explicit prohibitions against discrimination basis successful. Yep. Okay, credit. Numerous studies, people, especially transgender women, are economically disadvantaged at higher risk of poverty. The right to an impartial jury of one's peers, reciprocal right to a jury service are fundamental in free democratic system. Right, okay. United States, but also fairly creates a second-class citizen, LGBTQ. Okay. Numerous studies document shortage of qualified available for homes, approximately 424,000 youth in the child welfare system, and the negative outcomes for many of the youth who live in group care as opposed to a loving home, or who age out of care without permanent family placement, although same-sex couples are 7 times more likely to foster or adopt than their different sex counterparts. Many child-placing agencies refuse to serve same-sex couples. Okay, so that's to give children to those who wish them, who apply for them, right? Here we go. The LGBTQ youth are overrepresented in the foster care system by at least a factor of 2, and report twice the rate of poor treatment while in care compared to their non-LGBTQ counterparts. LGBTQ youth in foster care have higher average number of placements, higher likelihood of living in a group home, and higher rates of hospitalization for emotional reasons and of juvenile justice involvement than their non-LGBTQ peers, because of the high level of bias and discrimination that they face and the difficulty of finding affirming foster placements, further due to their physical distance from friends and family, traumatic experiences, and potentially unstable living situations. All youth involved with child welfare services are at risk for being targeted by traffickers seeking to exploit children. Barring discrimination in child welfare services will ensure improved treatment outcomes for LGBTQ foster children. It has to do with the foster system. Let's continue. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It didn't say anything about that. It didn't say anything about that, okay? She's talking right out of her ass. She is fear-mongering, and she's doing it really well. Because what the HR 5 says. Right. We couldn't fucking find... Listen, look, I know I skimmed the fuck out of that, okay? This ensures that if your doctor, or if your lawyers, if anyone who serves you, who you pay for their service, right? It ensures that just because they don't like that you're trans or gay or LGBTQ, I say T before the B, LGBTQ, Jesus, they won't be allowed to just not do it. You will have rights, you will have protection, and then you can actually tell someone and press charges. That's the point.